But the reality is, our good sis Lori Harvey has said nothing about her relationships. She hasn't come out, trust any man, cussed any man, said nothing negative about these men, and yet you want to hate on her. Why? The reality is that your silence, ladies, is absolutely freaking golden. Look, I had a friend the other day, right? I just said the other day, I said to a friend the other day when I was in Ghana, and I told her the only way to win a game against men is to shut up. Don't say a word. You see, men hate when women go silent because we're used to your emotional response. When you decide to speak, that's when I get you. See, when you speak, I can see you care. When you speak, then I can begin to take apart your argument. Don't say anything. Look what the men are doing. Silence is golden. Silence is golden, right? Silence is golden. Look, she doesn't say nothing, and yet these high value men keep dating her, right? And yet these high value men keep dating her. Why? Because her silence is worth a million. Silence is golden. And when the right guy comes along, he can appreciate. No, you didn't say nothing about these men. You didn't cuss them out. You weren't rude about them. Forget what the masses are saying, because they can't even attain you anyway. Like, yo, I see you. I see you. Do your thing, right? So a lot of times with these situations, right? Trying to fight a man with fire, no point. Just keep quiet. Just go silent. Just go silent. Men fear silence because we're used to your emotional response. And this is why, and this is again leads to my next point, which is why a lot of men get frustrated with Lori Harvey, is because she moves like a dude. She moves like a dude. And the one thing that men fear is themselves. We don't fear you, ladies. We fear ourselves. We fear other men. So what happens is when a woman begins to move like another woman, when a woman begins to move like a man, it's scary because now we can't trust that. We don't trust your subset of characteristics. See, the game is rigged. We know how women are going to behave. She gets into a relationship, she starts to care. Now we've got you locked in. But if Lori Harvey says, I'm not going to be emotional, or I'm not going to be as emotional, I'm going to take some logic into it. I'm not going to get myself sucked in so deeply into love that I completely miss all the red flags, and I'm going to be lost in it. And she starts moving like how we move, with a bit more logic and a bit more, do you know what? This doesn't work for me. I'm gonna leave it alone. Suddenly we're gonna be scared. And I'll tell you why we're scared, because we're not used to seeing you move like that. We're used to you being male centered. We're used to you also having a subset of behaviors that women often do. You get emotional, you get tied into a relationship, and when you get emotional, I then have power over you. And when I say emotional, I'm not talking about having emotions. I'm talking about when you're reactive. See, a lot of times when we talk about women being emotional, it's not about being emotional. It's about being reactive. When women are highly emotionally sensitive and they become reactive, gotcha, got you. See, when you allow your emotions to dictate every action and you become reactive, got you, got you, got you. Because now you're going to start moving erratically rather than really thinking about how you should move. A lot of men love it when women are in that space because you're going to be moving erratic. But the way that Lori Harvey is playing the game with her silence, it unnerves a lot of these guys and they're frustrated. Right? We need not be frustrated. Okay? All right. A lot of men are envious. And the word envy, remember you said the word envy? The reason why a lot of men are envious Lori Harvey is that she's a person. Look, envy is an emotion which occurs when a person lacks another quality, skill, achievement, or possession, and either desires it or wishes that other lacked it. A lot of these men wish they had the ability of Lori Harvey to be able to attain whatever they wanted. They wish. They wish. They wish. Right? And like when she said here about, I am the prize, that will trigger a lot of men. And I'm saying a men, not all. Again, I want to make it very clear. It's not all. Some men. It happens to some men because the reality is they feel entitled to something. Like, look, if I go into a shop, no, not even that. Actually, it happens in real life. Some people will look. I've done it myself. You guys, I'm probably sure you've done it as well, right? For instance, you might see someone buy a T-shirt for £500, and you be like, "Why would you spend £500 on a T-shirt?" The reality is, you don't have that kind of money to spend on a T-shirt. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. You don't. You don't. Okay, so then you start getting annoyed at that brand. It's like, well, that brand is just overpriced. Who wants that brand anyway? Who likes that brand? Da, 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 and you start making up all sorts of rationalizations for why you feel the way you feel. The reality is you can't afford that brand, and it annoys you can't afford that brand, right? So you start devaluing that brand, right? But then when you get enough money that you can spend £500 on a T-shirt, that energy doesn't go. That energy goes away. All that chitty chat that you were doing beforehand about the brand this, the brand that, you don't even have it no more because you just bought it, right? So instead of actually being real with actually how you feel, which is you're a bit jealous, you're a bit envious of the fact that you don't have the money to be able to buy this brand, you start to devalue it. And the same thing happens to people in relationships and people in situations. People start to devalue things, right? You start to devalue things. And so the same thing's happening also with Lori Harvey. People start becoming envious because of the quality, the skill, the achievement, the possession, the fact that she can actually date whoever she wants to date. The fact that she the fact that after 3 or 4 different guys she's dated, she can date a fifth one. The fact that on a 6th or 7th guy, she can date an 8th one. It's frustrating to you because you don't have options. You don't have options. You can't wake up in the morning and just get any girl. And if you could get any girl, the girl that you get is not quality. That's why you're angry. Because the man them that have got gal that are quality are not complaining about Lori Harvey. Now, Bussy is different because, like I said, there's people like Bussy who are really just annoyed. Um, people are just annoyed. Um, because they can't attain